Glad to have everybody on, and let's get started. So our agenda for today, again, a welcome. We're going to have announcements, Teams update, and the PD portal updates. So our first item for today is announcement by Paula Bauer. Paula.
Howdy. Thank you, Olga. I am representing the Literacy Symposiums generated by Literacy Texas, and it is primary for the community-based organizations and the volunteer literacy programs, but funded AEL providers can take advantage of these great sessions and possibly get the PD credit hours, so please share this with your staff. The DFW Literacy Symposium was about a weekend ago, and we had 130 participants and some great sessions. On March 1st, we'll have one down south in Edinburgh, and then in March 29th, we'll have it at the South of Plains in Lubbock. And I'll have others to announce probably next month. Literacy Texas is still having their annual conference on August 5th through 7th at the Hilton Waco area in the Hotel and Convention Center. Thanks, Olga.
Great. Thank you, Paula. So be sure to mark your calendars for that August 5th through 7th at Literacy Texas. It's a great venue. Next, we have Glenda.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to make sure people knew about the Texas Distance Learning Association's conference coming up in March of next year in Galveston, and with the theme of building community. They are still accepting submissions up until the 18th. So if you have someone on your team who is interested in distance learning, this is a great conference to go to network and to learn more about how we can engage our distance learners. And that's it for me. If you have questions, check out the website or just send me an email.
Thank you, Glenda. Next, we have Beth.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you all online. I just wanted to do a reminder about that they have added a Adult Education and Literacy pre-conference to the Texas Workforce Commission conference that's coming up in November. It'll be a day-and-a-half long pre-conference, all day long on the 27th, and then half a day on the 28th, and then the larger conference starts in the afternoon of the 28th. What we're going to be covering in that pre-conference is really looking at some best practices for IET models and what's working for different programs across the state. So you get opportunity to hear from your colleagues and hear what's working for them. And then we're going to also have there's going to be some new policy discussion as well as presentations on some of the new professional development initiatives that we're rolling out this year. So this is just a reminder, if you haven't already registered for the Texas Workforce Commission and you have anybody in your program that's interested in attending, that will be the 28th through the 30th in Houston at the Hilton Americas. The conference hotel is full, but they do have an overflow hotel. It's a Marriott, and they have rooms there for the 27th and the 28th. So I'd be happy to, if anybody needs that information, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to share that with you. And then the last announcement for me right now is about the Learning to Achieve instructional strategies for learning disabilities that we've been kind of rolling out regionally. The last one that we have scheduled is tomorrow in Dallas. It is from 8:30 to 4, and there are a few places still available, some spots still available, although the registration has closed in the portal. But you could, if you have somebody who wants to do a walk-in, that would be perfectly fine. And that is been some really, really good training. And we're actually looking at maybe seeing if we can do it a couple more locations. So that's it for now.
Thank you, Beth. Our next announcement is the upcoming Workforce Wednesday. Our next Workforce Wednesday is November 14th from 12:30 to 1:30. It's on strengthening the civics in IET EL civics courses, and this will be provided by Christopher. So register in the PD portal. It's available now. Our next announcement is that our Texas AEL Manager Monday will be November 12th, coming up on Monday. The topic is moving students towards IET success. We're going to have Brenda Schofield and Claudette Session from Region 5 in Beaumont, Texas. And we have Nancy Crawford and Sheriff Crawford from Literacy Council of Tyler. They're going to share specific strategies used to create a successful and motivating environment for their students. So please join us for Manager Monday, and registration again is in the PD portal.
Olga, this is Deborah. I just wanted to mention also that we are going to be starting a series of Teams Tuesdays. So we have the initial date, I believe, is the 27th of November when we're at the Workforce Conference. We'll be sending out more information as we confirm that with you. Just wanted to put a little bug in your ear.
Thank you. And our next announcement is about our new Tech Intel Live webinar series. And this happens twice a month, so it's a repeat. And it happens on Fridays from 11:30 to 12:30. So in November and December, there'll be a 3-part Tech Intel on a new reading website and resource titled Actively Learn. So Actively Learn is an excellent resource for teachers, which includes an online library of lessons, stories, pages, and articles with questions embedded for students. It enables teachers to guide, monitor, and deepen reading comprehension, and it provides embedded questions, speech-to-text, and other supports for students with LD, including dyslexia. So our first session has passed, but our next session is November 16th, Actively Learn Part 2, using the resource, and then December 14th, Actively Learn. So please make sure that you send the word out for our instructors or anyone interested to participate.
Hi, everybody. It's Beth again. So I wanted to talk about a little bit about the Content Standards 2.0 project. And this is one of the new initiatives that we'll be talking about at the Texas Workforce Commission pre-conference. But there's going to be some information coming out in the next week or so I wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up about that. Anne Marie Molinari Sanders on our team is leading up this project, and I'm working with her on it, but she is currently driving to Dallas, so I'm going to cover these slides for her. So this is kind of the extension of the content standards rollout that has happened over the last year and a half. A couple of things to note. The content standards have not changed, so don't panic. The content standards have remained the same, but we've added some elements to them looking at ONET and ONET data and tying our content standards to detailed work activities and work examples for industry clusters, 4 industry clusters here in the state of Texas. And they were specifically looking at entry-level and mid-level positions. Next slide. So what we're doing with this project is actually going to be rolling out some training for targeted teams from our programs. And we're looking at a team of max of 4, and we're looking at targeting our instructional leads, our career navigators, our content standard coaches. Some of those people may be the same person because I know people are wearing lots of hats, and or your IET basic skills instructor. We're not looking for the workforce instructor. We're looking for the basic skills instructor. There's going to be 2 trainings, if we want to move to the next slide. 2 trainings. The first training will be everybody together at a pre-conference at the Taylor Conference in Houston. So that'll be the Taylor Conference 2019 Houston. There'll be one all day long face-to-face training. And then the second set of trainings are going to be regional. And what we'll be doing with the regionals is really getting real specific about the types of jobs that are available in your area, and then how are we contextualizing and tying that to our instruction. So that will be a one-day face-to-face training. Before each of the face-to-face trainings, there will be a webinar, and we will also have 2 webinars specifically geared towards our program directors, and those will happen right after the face-to-face so that our program directors will have an idea of what our staff are getting in the trainings. And the positions, again, that we're targeting, those instructional leads, career navigators, your content standards coaches, and or your IET basic skills instructors. And so,
thank you.
Okay.
Before we go on, do we have any questions about that content standards effort?
So just for clarification, these are for those specific teams, and the January and February, or the January-February face-to-face, the introduction at Taylor, that is for those teams only. Is that correct?
That's correct. And so there'll be information coming out probably Monday or Tuesday. We're working on the messaging, and there will be a nomination form and a commitment form very similar to what we did when we did the content standards rollout, where the director is going to have to list the names of the people that they want to support in participating in this. And then the individual team members will have a commitment form that says, yes, I'm willing to put in the work to complete this. So that we're working on that right now, and hopefully it'll be out early next week.
And someone asked about the pre-conference date, and it's February the 6th. Okay, one of the new, some of you may have been on the call this morning. I don't know how many of you listen in on Anson's biweekly calls, but I've been working with Carrie over the last week on putting together another series similar to what Mahalia did with educational outcomes. Remember those webinars? This one's going to be called Putting POPs into Practice. Our own Laura Greer, I think, came up with that title, which is very cute and bubbly. We've got 3 dates right now that Carrie has scheduled before the Thanksgiving holiday. You'll see them there on the screen. They're in the portal for registration. But I do want to bring your attention to the blue text on the bottom here that she does have some strict prerequisites. And one of them is that you have already attended one of the accountability events, and then that you have reviewed the Teams 3.8 webinar. I have the link to that webinar, and some of you may not have attended the accountability event yet in your area, so don't worry about that. Carrie will be doing more in December and January. So for those of you who have already attended any of those accountability events, please join us on that Tuesday, November 13th, November 16th, or the 19th for Carrie's 1-hour Putting POPs into Practice webinar. Again, you can find that training opportunity in the portal. Just remember, it won't let you register if you have not already attended an accountability event. Any questions? Here we go.
So right now is question time. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I'm reading Harriet's chat. Yes, so the webinar viewing is on the honor system, but the accountability events isn't. So, you know, we do the registration in the portal, and then we mark your attendance. So if you've already attended and have your certificate, you will be able to register. Just please take the time to review that 3.8 Teams webinar. Any other questions about any of the things we've talked about to this point, or the POPs in practice? I feel like saying star 6. Okay, we can go ahead, and I'll interrupt you, Olga, if we get some additional questions.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on. And our next presenter is Beth.
Well, this is just a reminder slide. As we're working towards all of the updates in Teams and working towards getting some new professional development available for you, that we do have some things available for you in the portal. The Teams Technical Assistance modules that you'll find in the library. There are no PD credit for those, but they're there for you to review. And we have put together some of those modules for our data entry staff to satisfy their PD requirements. And there are 2 clusters for those folks that are data entry. There's one on Basics Technical Assistance, and then there's one on data entry. So just make sure you know where you can find those in the portal.
Thank you, Beth. And we do have a question or comment in the...
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to... She's still talking about Teams, so I didn't know if you wanted to continue that or not. but we can address the question, sure. So somebody asked, Lorraine asked, per the conference call this morning, those who attended accountability meeting in December will also be able to view the POPS virtual meeting soon after, correct? I mean, all I can say is, and yeah, Kathy, I think, was the one who asked that question. I think Carrie's response was, yes, we'll have some in December and January. I don't know how quickly that is after a particular accountability event, but yes, you are correct. Tiffany has a question. So for new teachers that are needing Teams overview, that's not available anymore, correct? And that is correct at the moment. We're trying to get the updated information so we can relay that information to y'all.
Okay, thank you, Beth. Was that all for your slide, Beth?
Yes, that's all.
Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and continue with a little bit more information on Teams and conferences, and we'll have Tracy share some information.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I want to remind you, and we've talked about this before, and we'll probably bring it up a few more times throughout the year, that we enter any conference events that your staff might go to. And so this would include national conferences, other state conferences, online conferences like the COABE virtual online webinar conference that was held in October. And this is just the guidance about entering conferences and how to do that. And just a reminder of this, because if your local program starts entering those events, it gets very confusing. And we realize that you can enter them, but we ask that you don't enter them. And so at on this page, y'all can read, there is a form, and it's in the PD Coordinator's Community of Practice, I believe. If you don't have it, it says Conference Sessions for Teams. You would compile any sessions that your staff have gone to. For example, we had the CASP conference in El Paso last month, and so if you have any staff that went to that, you would compile the sessions that they attended and submit that to your PD specialist or to Beth Ponder, or you can send it to me as well, and we'll enter those for you. Example, the TWC conference coming up, we don't enter every session from the TWC conference because it's so large, and that would take up a lot of our staff time. So again, we will need for y'all to compile a list of the sessions that your staff has attended, submit that to your PD specialist or to Beth, and then we'll get that entered for you as soon as we can. Just keep in mind that keynote speeches and general sessions usually don't count for PD because they need to have objectives, learning objectives that relate to adult ed, and oftentimes they're great, they're feel-good sessions, but they're not often considered professional development. And we'll go to the next slide. I know that's mine, and then if there are any questions. So just a reminder, I kind of mentioned a few of these things already of conferences that have occurred this fall. This is an example of a screenshot for the CASP conference that a program had several folks attend. So I did enter the sessions that they requested. And the COABE virtual conference, I've noticed in Teams that some data entry people have been putting in those sessions if you had staff attend. Again, if you'll send that sheet to us, it's called Conference Sessions to be entered into Teams, and send that to us, we will enter those because we want to be sure to give it the correct training classification and title, description, and hours that someone would receive. So are there any questions about this? And yes, please share, Deb is sending, please share this information with anyone who enters data for you. It gets really confusing in Teams when everyone's entering different things and then nobody knows quite which event to attach staff to. So, any other questions? And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Tracy. And we'll go ahead and move on. I think we have Laura up with PD Portal topics.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So our webinars that we were able to get through the post-production process and into the portal this month are listed on the screen. We have 3 new Tech Intels, 1 Manager Monday, and then 2 Workforce Wednesdays. That's what the the acronyms on the left side are for the Tech and Tel or the webinar series. So we have more that are in there, and we've got more coming down the pipeline. So they're in there. Please let your teachers know. And also, just to piggyback off of what Tracy just said, talking about Teams, they're already in Teams for you guys as well. Olga, next, please. Thank you. So the thing that we wanted to also bring up was encouraging your teachers and staff to reach out to us sooner rather than later when they're running into trouble in the PD portal. I've put some examples here on the bottom of the training details from some online classes that folks have had trouble with. And so, for instance, the one on the left is something that someone had to view 37 times, and they spent 8 hours in it, and that's a 1-hour course that that person was having trouble with. And the one on the far right is a 3-hour course. So we certainly do not want your teachers spending 8 hours in a course that they're only going to get 1 hour for. Sometimes there is something glitchy, or some of the triggers aren't working right, and so it's something that we can go in and need to be aware of and take care of. But sometimes it's just user error, and teachers just need a little bit of assistance and guidance in how to proceed forward. So again, yes, Glenda Rose says Cornerstone updates and causes mass chaos. It's true. So again, just encourage your teachers. If they're running into trouble, contact us sooner rather than later, because we don't want them to have to waste their time with these courses. And then another reminder, we've got PD Portal office hours every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 with our new PD Portal coordinator, Katie. She's really taken on the role of reaching out to people who contact the PD Portal needing help. So we're trying to be more proactive in reaching out to teachers and reminding them that this is a resource that's there for them, and please join us so that we can help them learn to navigate the portal a little bit more comfortably, and maybe not have to spend 8 hours in a course. But again, if you guys can also help remind your teachers and staff that this is a resource that's available to them, we think it could be a really helpful resource for them. And yep, and then that's all I've got today.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Uh-huh.
We do have Katie with a little bit more information about the PD portal, but thank you. And again, about that resource, office hours, please use it.
Hi, I just wanted to let you know that anyone that is conducting training for Train PD, it's important that we remember to keep your profile and contact information current and up to date. I created some instructions on how to do this that are actually in the PD portal how-to videos. You can see the little picture down at the bottom where you can find them. You're also welcome to send us an email at pdportal@tamu.edu, and we will be happy to walk you through how to keep your information and everything up to date.
Yeah, we've had some folks that change programs, and so we don't want to deactivate their account, but we might need to change their email address. So this is important information. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you all. And I think we're back up to questions. We're at the end of our information or our meeting.
Wow, we did it in 30 minutes.
Yeah. So if anybody has any questions, please post them now. We're going to give you a little bit of wait time. It's time for you if you have any questions lingering.
Teams questions, portal questions, training questions.
Hi, this is Ronetta from Amarillo College. I was just wondering, when you were talking about instructors having trouble with the portal, who do they contact? Is it that number that's listed on the portal, or is there a better number to reach?
Sorry, Lori just stepped away. But the best way to contact us would be at pdportal@tamu.edu, and then we'll get back to you really quick if you're having any kind of issues. Or you can also log on to our office hours as well. Either one would work.
Okay, thanks.
And Katie, why don't you, Laura, put in your direct phone number too?
Yes, absolutely.
Just put it in the chat pod. Let me see here. Are the slides available on the Connect community, or are they posted somewhere? Are you talking about these slides, the PD coordinator slides, or are you talking about something with the portal? Sandy, can you kind of...
We do, the Teams slides.
The Teams slides. Well, we're going to post Beth, don't we post this PowerPoint that has the team slides into the PD Coordinators Connect community?
You can post it to the community, and what we'll also do is as soon as we've processed the WebEx recording, we'll put the recording up in the community.
Anybody else have any questions? If you're typing, raise your hand so we know.
30 minutes.
I know, that was great.
Thank you all very much for participating, but we'll wait a little bit to see if y'all have any other questions, because we really do want to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks everyone. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but we'll leave the room open for any last minute questions. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.
Good job, Olga. Good job, Deb.
Thank you.
Hey guys, before everybody
Bye-bye.
heads out, I was looking in the chat, and it has the direct line to call Katie and Laura, and I just want to remind everybody they don't live here. So I know a lot of our part-time teachers do work on in the evenings and on the weekends, but let them know that, to call us, it would have to be during regular business hours.
Sure, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Glenda. Good point. And the email also, isn't it sometimes regular business hours?
Yeah, it's regular business hours.
If you have any questions, please let us know.